Ladies and gentlemen, Kiss and Def Leppard.
Yeah!
Kiss and Def Leppard.
You can get up, you can scream, you can shout, you can it's rock and roll, it's rock and roll! You wanted the best, you got the best, the hottest men in the world, Kiss! Yeah! The great frontman, Paul Stanley, Rockin' Tommy Thayer, Silvernote Tomcat, Eric Singer, and the Demon, Gene Simmons, Kiss! A little horseplay, getting things going, Eric. Nice. There they are, 40 years strong. Kicking ass across America for the biggest summer tour of the year. Taking no prisoners, Joe.
No prisoners whatsoever.
Tweet us your questions at livenation.com. Tweet us, tweet us, tweet us.
And now joining us on stage, Def Leppard.
Yeah!
Rick Allen, Phil Collins, Joe Elliott, Rick Savage, Vivian Campbell,
the combination of these two rock and roll powerhouses. Kiss, Def Leppard together, once in a lifetime tour. Looking good, Gene. Here we are, everyone. How about a hand for Kiss and Def Leppard? The Kiss Army, the Def Leppard fans are watching at livenation.com. We are streaming live all over the world. The first one to grab a mic, of course, Mr. Paul Stanley of Kiss.
I just want to say, this is our 40th anniversary tour. We couldn't feel more proud about going out there and doing the biggest show we've done. The Monster Tour that we did in Europe was arguably the best stage we've ever had. And we couldn't have a better band with us than Def Leppard over here. And not only that, but Phil decided to wear a shirt today. So it's a very special day.
First question.
And a jacket.
It's the closest thing we've got to makeup, so, you know, he had to wear something.
What brought you guys together for this the first time around here? Because you have never appeared on stage before together.
We haven't, but, you know, we've run into each other at festivals, and, you know, it just seemed a natural fit. At some point, it really becomes important to go out there and give everybody bang for buck, give people something more than perhaps other bands are. We've had a history of going out there and trying to do the greatest shows possible. Summer is a great time to go out, enjoy yourself. You can go out with your family, just go on a date. But in any case, you want a full night. And you're not going to hear more better songs than with the two of us. I want to just hang around and listen to these guys.
Right back at you, buddy. 1 and 1 makes 3 in these situations, really. My maths aren't great, but you see what I mean in rock and roll. That's two great bands going out together. There would be no dead time. There'd be no dead air space. You know, it'll be hits, hits, hits. And it's about 2 years ago, myself and Gene did a little tour of South America under the guise of the Rock and Roll All-Stars with a bunch of guys from like Guns N' Roses and Billy Idol and whatever. And other than trying to outdo each other with obscure British bands like the Idle Race and the Pink Fairies, who knew which band better, we discussed doing this as well, that one day Def Leppard and Kiss would actually tread the boards together, as it were, and it's finally happened, which is fantastic. Thank you, Gene, for that.
Anybody that thinks this is just about ego, yeah, we love each other and all this kind of stuff. This is for the fans, of the fans, for the fans, by the fans. We are fans of Def Leppard, and we hope the fans are going to get the most out of this, and that's what it's all about.
Hallelujah.
So it's buy the fans, buy the tickets.
You guys are looking phenomenal. Can you talk about the state of the band today, 2014?
We have never had more fun being on tour. obviously celebrate everything that's gone on before. We couldn't be here if we didn't start in 1973, 40 years ago. There's been a lot of water under the bridge. There's been a lot of great times, some bad times, but it got us here. And without any hesitation, I got to say, we've never had more fun. We have a ball out there. We go out there to live up to any expectations, and every night we go out there and blow them away. So I got to say, we're happy campers.
Eric hates me.
I didn't hear what you said. You're mumbling again.
Eric hates me.
Yes, I hate you very much.
What about a question for Eric and for Tommy? You guys driving the band when you really had posters of them when you were kids. What's it like to be that fan who's in there? Right? Maybe? Sorry, Paul.
Actually, I'm not that much younger.
How old do you think these guys are?
Sorry about that, buddy.
Yeah, when I was in kindergarten, I loved Kiss.
No, you know, we've been, speaking for Eric and I, we've loved Kiss all of our lives. Kiss has been around for 40 years now, which we know. And, you know, but actually between...
How old are you?
You know, I'm in my early 50s, so I'm getting up there. But anyway, you know, I've been in the band about 12 years now. Eric's been in longer, and so we're a big part of this. And, you know, it's in our heart, and we, you know, we bleed Kiss blood, and Gene spits it. But you know, we're very much our heart and soul's into this, and we love being in Kiss. And like Paul said, when we do anything, when we're touring, when we're recording, we really love being together and doing it, and it's no BS. There's a good chemistry in this band, a great spirit, and we're looking forward to taking that out on the road this summer together with Def Leppard and having a gangbuster tour. Thank you.
One of the things you two guys, you two bands, you two artists share in common, all of you started in clubs from the very beginning. These bands were not formed by a game show on TV. You actually were out there working to begin with from the very, very beginning, working very hard. Does that carry over today? Do you feel that when you walk out on stage, you still remember that, either to escape the clubs or for the energy?
Actually, I won a competition in a club to play with Def Leppard. So, but, you know, it was cool. We jammed in clubs actually before I was
He
in the band.
came second.
I know, really, but you know, I beat the other guy up, so you know, we were good.
I came third.
No, it was great, and I think you know, you get your chops together, you do all that stuff in clubs, and that's why we're still around now. We actually like each other as well, so it's that really makes a huge difference.
Huge difference.
You know, there is absolutely no way, there's no substitute for working your way up. Bands today that are starting out, they don't have a clue. Most of these bands go from obscurity to selling, you know, 1 million albums, 2 million albums. They couldn't entertain a phone booth, and that's why they don't sell tickets. You learn the craft by doing it. You start in the clubs, you work your way up to being third on a bill in an auditorium, then you get to headlining there, then you work your way into arenas. By the time you're in arenas, you damn well know how to do it. People come to see us because they know they're going to get a great night. Matter of fact, I remember Phil was in a band that did shows with us.
Absolutely.
In the UK. He was in a band called Girl. And
Like 1980 or 81 or something like that. Yeah.
and I kept saying, leave us alone. Stop bothering us. No, but, you know, it just goes to show you, there's no substitute. Both those bands know how to go out there and deliver the goods. And we're proud to be going out together because of that.
Absolutely.
It's worth stressing for the very first time ever. Def Leppard, Kiss together. Bang for the buck.
When I think of Kiss and I think of Def Leppard, when I go to your shows, it's like I remember, the songs are like I remember from when I was, you know, listening to them in my room. So can you talk about that philosophy, Gene, of how you, both you bands, like to just make it sound like the record?
Joe, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Joe, you have to li-
what?
you
Making
have
the
to
song sound like the album when we go on stage? Is that what you're saying?
No different interpretations, no bluesy riffs. It's just the songs that made you great. You
Well,
play them just...
neither band are really blues-based or jam bands, I don't think. I remember, again, no disrespect intended, but when I was listening to Kiss as a kid, before I was even in Def Leppard,
Here we go again.
that is, as I said, it's a compliment. Sit down. It was pretty obvious that you're looking at a band, you know, you look at the back. First of all, you look at the image and think, this is great because, you know, this is different. And then you look at the back and there's 10 songs, 5 on each side, which means that, you know, you're getting probably 4 or 5 minute songs, not 45-minute songs. It wasn't like one of these, you know, in the 70s, it was very easy to be very indulgent. And, you know, side 1 of an album could be just 1 song. And these guys were delivering 10 songs. And they were short and they were to the point and they were fun and they were well-structured pop songs, you know, and rock songs. Because they had hit singles, so they weren't just pure rock, it was a combination of both. And that's exactly where we were coming from as well. You know, we grew up through the British glam rock scene of bands like Mott the Hoople and Queen, Sweet, Slade, Bowie, T-Rex. These were all guitar-driven, big drums, 3-minute songs with big hooks and choruses. And it's like, what's not to love? So, you know, for us to, especially on this tour, to think we're going to break out into some kind of blues jam, it's not, it's just not going to happen.
A band respects its fans by respecting the songs. When you go out there, when somebody pays hard-earned money and you want to go out and hear a song and suddenly the band is bored with it and turned it into a reggae tune, it's an insult to you. You came to hear songs sound a certain way. And we're damn well going to make sure that you know that song as soon as it starts. If it's boring for us, then either we're ungrateful to you or those songs suck to begin with.
Yeah, he's right. And, you know, you can disrespect your own back catalogue. There's critics somewhere out there that if either Kiss or Def Leppard took a tune and turned it inside out, they would rave about it, but the 9, 10, 15, 20,000 people watching will be confused. And we're not here to impress critics. You know, when I go and see the Stones or Kiss or McCartney, I want to hear the songs the way I've known them all my life. That's why I'm going. I don't want to hear a reggae version of Jumpin' Jack Flash. It doesn't interest me whatsoever. And when I hear Detroit Rock City, I don't want to hear it ska. I want to hear it as it is. You know?
Likewise, whenever we hear you guys, we go, wow, that sounds like the record. You may not remember, there were things called records once upon a time. But wow, that sounds like the CD. It sounds like it's supposed to. That's the kind of respect that we certainly want to be aligning ourselves with. That's why we're here together.
Gene, can you talk about Kiss and Def Leppard joining together and your unwavering support of these great Americans right here, these men, these fighting men and women? I know it's very close to all your hearts.
Our proud military makes freedom possible. Politicians fart through their mouth. Only the military makes freedom possible. If you don't know that, you're an idiot. This is not only a proud military, it's a volunteer military. People better than any one of us on stage volunteer their life, limb for a philosophy, an ideal, and an idea. And they go over and not everybody comes back. The least we could do is, number 1, pay homage to them, and number 2, make sure that a buck out of every single ticket that's going to come in through the door is going to go to various forms of wounded warriors.
It's very easy for some of us to forget that there are sacrifices made so that we can enjoy freedom that we don't even think about. These people go out there and risk their lives voluntarily. They are the heroes of the 20th and the 21st century. We say God bless them. We hope for everyone's safe return. In the meantime, anytime that we can spotlight these people who are here today and ones who aren't, and say these people need to be treated not like you and me, but like the heroes they are. If there's anything we can do when you return to help integrate you back into society, whether you need some help, rehabilitation, help with your families, there are some great organizations. There are Wounded Warrior Care Project. There's other Wounded Warrior projects that we're involved with too. We're going to make sure that the money goes to the people who make it possible for us to be wearing our uniforms.
And to our British friends, just as an FYI, because we believe in the same ideal. When we were in England, we did a fundraiser for the Brits, the proud Brits who went over and served for the same reasons.
Help for heroes, you know. You know, we don't want to get maudlin or get serious, but we were born in two of the greatest countries, and the freedom that we get to enjoy every day comes at a price, and some people give the ultimate sacrifice to make that happen. So God bless all of you.
Hallelujah.
Leo's got a couple questions from the crowd here. The first one I got from the press, actually the first two had to do with the earthquake today. Ladies and gentlemen, Joe Elliott flew in last night, and he thought there was an earthquake this morning. Little did he realize it actually was a KISS production crew preparing for the show.
I think it was Gene. He dropped his wallet.
So we're wondering, KISS has been known for the biggest stage show there is. Are you dropping any hints on what's going to happen on this tour?
We went out through Europe with what we call the monster stage. We have a spider that's part of the lighting system, comes down onto the stage. It interacts with the stage. When we were putting it together, when I designed it, when we were putting it together, the idea was, why do the lights have to have a separate life of their own, and we have the stage? So it's very much one. And to see this massive rig moving and interacting and us being able to go up in it or to go out, you know, there's nothing subtle about it, but you don't need subtlety. You know, we're here to deliver good news and excitement. When you want bad news, you just have to go to your computer or go to the television. You can get away from it for one night. You can enjoy yourself. All the misery will be there tomorrow, but we want to make sure that we entertain you for one night.
Alongside Def Leppard.
The question then is, for you guys who have a very bright show and it keeps getting bigger as time goes along, do you feel a challenge? Is there any pressure on you?
Not really. I wouldn't call it a challenge or. I don't. There's always an element of certain people think it's going to be competitive, you know, and I just don't see it as competitive. It's two great bands that are going to be playing for the same amount of time. It's joint forces. I mean, that's what it is. I don't see it as competitive at all.
Yeah.
Total respect.
I was going
from
to say,
here
have you ever seen...
from this side of the stage to that side of the stage? Total respect.
Yeah, I think Paul touched on it earlier as well. The most important element of the concert is the audience. Yep. They're the ones, and it's all about them. And we can deliver great songs, and so can KISS. And that's the bottom line. Everybody will go home happy.
They've got their 40th anniversary. We're 35.
We're a little young.
Maybe 35 years into ours. We're just blessed that we can still do this. I mean, Paul mentioned early on about these, you know, we went through the clubs and then, up to the arenas and stuff like that. And these new kids coming through, I don't really think you'll find many bands that are starting off in the last 2 or 3 years sat on this stage in 40 years' time discussing their 40th anniversary tour, because the infrastructure is so different. We're very blessed that we have an opportunity to take the songs that we've got and they've got and put them in front of one massive, hopefully, crowd, and they can celebrate the history of both bands at the same time. It's a fantastic opportunity.
They actually might be on the stage, but they'll be asking who's got the bucket and the broom.
Yeah.
But
Isn't it normally, would you like fries with that, sir?
Yeah, exactly. But I think this all comes down to pride. I don't, rivalry, who's going to be better. I think this is about going out and being your best. Yep. Because when you're your best, they get the best. It's all about giving the audience what they deserve. And we'll sleep very contently tonight knowing that we're doing this together.
Def Leppard fan Craig right here. Craig?
Hey guys, first of all, I want to say thanks for being here. It's really an honor. And I just have a statement specifically for Rick. My son, who's actually not here today because he's actually joining the military today. He's a musician. He plays the guitar. And we were lucky enough to see you guys at the Gibson a few years ago. And ever since then, he's really been inspired by you. The fact that you never gave up after your accident is really keeping him, he thinks that that's really an amazing thing, that you're able to do that and still play at the level that you do. And you're really an inspiration to him, and he just wanted me to tell you that.
That's very cool. Thank you. I always tell people that are starting out, celebrate your uniqueness, and that's one thing I strive to do, and just play from your heart. And it's wonderful that you relay that message. Thank you.
Eric, the before we went out, Eric was talking about Rick, so
I was saying how fantastic he is. I was telling these guys, we were getting ready, and I was telling some of the wardrobe people, I said, when you get a chance, you got to go up and watch Rick Allen play drums. I said, because it's really incredible, and I mean this with total props, Rick. You had to relearn how to play drums, and it's like, I remember the first time I saw you play after your accident, I was standing there at the Forum with Terry Bozzio, who's a pretty acclaimed, renowned drummer, and everybody was just blown away. We're like, oh my God, this is incredible how he plays. It's a testament to your, spirit as a person and as a human being, what you are able to accomplish as a drummer. I mean, it's amazing.
That's very cool, man. Thank you. The human spirit is the most powerful thing I know. And I think one thing we all have in common is resiliency. We keep coming back. And I have no intention of giving it up anytime soon. So thank you.
All right, a question from...
If I could just add as well, it's great because of this whole link in with the military, the fact that we've got our own wounded warrior here that's survived and come through even better. The highest compliment that any of the four of us can pay Rick, other than the fact that he has to look at our asses all night, is that we're looking out that way, and to us, to our ears, it doesn't sound any different. In fact, it sounds better. So it's not like there's anything missing. In fact, it's enhanced the songs, and you wouldn't know. You know in the back of your mind he's got one arm, but when you're on stage, you just hear him play the drums, and he just sounds like a drummer. It's the highest compliment we could pay him.
Rick Allen. In the center, we have a question from Ronnie.
Well, it's not really a question. It's a big thank you to all of you and the military, but I'm from Warner Brothers Studio but we are the proud owners of Detroit Rock City. Yeah. And digital next year.
You mean the movie?
Yeah, well, the movie, yes, sorry. Yes, the movie. This is so inspirational to all of us that I can't make a promise, but since it's next year, the goal would be to continue all of this, to continue your vision with the wounded soldiers, and to keep KISS and Def Leppard alive forever.
Question in the front row. Sorry.
Hi, my name is Kim. This is a question for you, KISS. I am an artist myself, but what made you choose the costumes and the makeup?
Punishment. Think about it. In hindsight, we're going, we could have been in wonderful bands with T-shirts, jeans, and sneakers. No, we decided to put together this and walk around with, well, for me, another 40 or 50 pounds. Paul's supposed to say, yeah, because he hasn't lost weight yet. And we proudly spit fire. We proudly fly through the air. We proudly blow up stuff. We proudly do all that stuff and work our asses off. Pride is something both Def Leppard and KISS share in. You have to have pride in what you do. Somebody actually said this to me I've heard it more than once. You guys have money. Why do you keep doing this? There is no better time on planet Earth than to go up on holy stage, because it's electric church, and make everybody in the audience forget about the traffic jam and the bad things in life. It's magic time. You come into our shows, it's magic. You'll feel better. You'll feel alive. That's our job. We're going to make your life better.
Speaking of making your life better, there's one word to describe LA KISS football: undefeated. So,
we played our first game. So we played our first arena football game.
Not
LA
us.
KISS.
Not us.
Our football team.
Not in those shoes.
41-38.
We're also undefeated. But yeah, our football team won its first game. Home season starts April 5th. And you should really come to these games, because the players are absolutely insane. The entertainment is insane. The dancers are insane. It really takes this all to another level. It's Kiss, and you know when Kiss puts their name on something, it's not going to be something that it's not going to be a snooze. You're not going to have to sell your car, mortgage your house to get tickets. There's $99 season tickets available. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about the tour.
Paul is right. Go to lakissfootball.com.
But you know, going back to the question about the outfits or uniforms, I remember going to concerts. I was lucky. I saw Humble Pie. I saw Jimi Hendrix. I saw Derek and the Dominoes, The Who, The Kinks. Every band. I was a huge Anglophile. Loved British bands. Thought that most of the American bands needed to start by taking a bath and then spending a little bit of time less with drugs and more playing their instruments. So we came up from that. Those are our roots. We never put this on to substitute for anything. We wanted to wear this proudly and take what we had seen other bands do a step further. If it was purely about the makeup, there would be tons of bands running around. The few that have done it, most are answers in Trivial Pursuit games at this point. So it's always been about the heart. You can paint a car anything you want, but without a great engine, it doesn't go anywhere. This is a great engine up here, and we are going to win every time we hit the stage.
Paul,
Live Nation.
Paul, just so you know, if your team keeps winning, we've got a song called Undefeated. You can borrow it if you want.
Free?
Yeah, you can play it in the stadium. That's no problem.
One of the things that a lot of people don't realize in seeing your shows, both of you bands are this same way. Your audience now has grown to the point where it's from God knows hours old all the way up into people who've been around for quite a while. You have a complete broad demographic range in your audience, and I know that's not the way it started out. When did you first start noticing that? And you got to get a kick out of seeing families and people that could be families.
For us, rock and roll has changed. What's happened over years, rock and roll has become more like the blues. As long as you're writing about things that your audience understands and can connect to, you can keep playing it. It's not the music of teenagers, it's the music of life, about celebration, about freedom, about self-empowerment. For us, the great thing has been our concerts have turned into kind of tribal gatherings. It's more about a tribe. Usually if you go to a rock concert, you don't want to see your kid brother, you don't want to see your older sister. It's just yours. With us, it's about a tribal gathering. It's like the largest cult on earth. Everybody shows up. They're proud to have their family with them. It's great when you see parents there holding their kids up, almost like a rite of passage. For us, rock and roll is something that's timeless. I like to say to the audience, we were there for your parents and we'll be there for you.
And we could be your parents.
Or grandparents.
Kiss is well known. Oh, I'm sorry, Leo.
No, go for it.
Like I say, you guys are well known for coming up through the ranks. You would have opening acts that deserved a break and probably weren't going to get one anyplace. Rush, Cheap Trick, Van
Judas
Halen.
Priest, Iron Maiden, Bon Jovi,
AC/DC.
Tom Petty, Bob Seger, AC/DC, and the list goes on.
The list goes
Motley
on.
Crue.
And you treated them well. You didn't cut them off. Didn't give them 4.5 inches of stage. You gave them the lighting and all that. How did you miss these guys early on?
I guess the time just wasn't right.
Yeah.
But going to your point, if you have to tie the arm of the band that's playing with you behind their back for you to beat them, then you don't deserve to be the band that goes on last. We want every band that goes on to have every opportunity to be at their best because the audience wins and it makes us up our game. We'll rise to the occasion.
It's about the show. I mean, that's the bottom line. And as best we can make the overall show as a package for the audience, then they go on the happiest, and that's what it's all about. That is king.
And this tour is going to be 40+ dates. We'll get into that in a moment. Leo, what do you got? Who you got over
Huge
there?
summer tour. Okay, question.
My name is Gary Newnham. I'm from the state of California Employment Development Department and represented by our vet program here. The job or the announcement of this press conference indicated that there will be 1 or 2 vets that would be hired to go on the tour with the band. Can you expand on that a little bit, please?
We did this before. It's basically like hiring a hero. We try to find a couple of vets who want to go out and be part of the team. In the background, we're always part of the Army or the Armed Forces, so this is a chance for somebody to travel and be part of the KISS Army.
You should know this is not the first time we've done this. The last time we came through America, or the time before, I believe, $1 of every single ticket went to Wounded Warriors. We've done special concerts, especially in Washington, D.C. for Walter Reed Hospital. And this is, for us, it's not about telling the press or anything like that. It's the least we could do just to be grateful that we have our military.
On that tour that Gene's talking about, we often brought up vets that were local vets who had served on our behalf. And we also did the Pledge of Allegiance. It was important to let people know that patriotism is cool. There's nothing uncool about standing up and pledging allegiance to the country. So, again, we don't want to hammer this point home, but the truth is we're all here because of the military that makes it possible.
Here, a question or a statement for Def Leppard.
Hi, my name is Karen. I'm with the Army Reserve, the backbone of the United States military.
So she says.
That's right. I want to thank you all. I grew up with you, and I also met my husband in 1987 in a bar when I was in ROTC saying I was studying for an exam, and my husband was an Army enlisted man coming down for Seneca Army Depot with Pour Some Sugar playing. And we got married to that song, and we've been married 21 years later. And I have put all of your music. It started on those cassettes that you carried around when you were jogging in the military, where we do it off time. So I have all your music on there, and I just want to say how inspirational it is to have someone from your childhood come out and be here for us troops, and for all my friends who served overseas. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It can make the point here as, again, there's over 40 cities in the tour. Thus far, it starts the 23rd of June. Some of you know this, maybe not everybody, but KISS was on, I believe, this stage just a couple of weeks ago on Valentine's. So the band, and it is a band because everybody's involved in the songwriting. Everybody's been performing with each other for many, many years now. It is an honest-to-God group. And Def Leppard has been hiding someplace in Ireland, I believe, writing music. Was that or was it just giving Vivian a chance to grow the hair back after the chemo?
A bit of both, really. I think it had already grown back by the time we got
well.
there.
Okay.
But he liked to go back to Belfast on weekends and visit his folks. But I've got a studio at home, and we all camped out at my place for the month of February, to write some new songs, which you will hear none of this summer.
You know what's really interesting? We actually went over to Joe's to write 1 or 2 songs and maybe put something out we got 11 songs on the go already, just in a month. So we're definitely going to have an album out, and that'll be out next year. So we're really excited. We haven't done music together, new music, for a long time, and it was so thrilling and just so cool to be back in it. But yeah, 11 songs on the go. We'll have 20 by the time we're done. So yeah, all good.
Excellent. I don't know if anybody's aware of this, but the band KISS is going to be inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame here in a short period of time.
Yeah, about time. Yeah.
And I'm wondering, because of this exalted level they're going to be at, are there requirements of the contract that you must refer to them as Your Majesty?
Cut it out. Come on. Yes.
Well, I've been referring to Gene as Your Majesty for about 3 or 4 years already.
Stop it. Stop.
On a different note, we were all really thrilled that Vivian's here and that he's doing great.
Thank you, Paul.
Yeah.
Never better, actually. Yeah.
Good.
I had to get a little haircut this morning. It's getting a little out of control,
Well, you're looking very handsome.
Oh, thank you very much.
And healthy.
Yeah.
Good to have you.
Cheers. Good to be here.
Right over here. Here we go. Guys, right over here.
This is for all of you guys, but Rick, after I stepped on an IED and lost my arm and both my legs, I was a guitar player of 12 years, and I just simply didn't want to give up, and you're a big part of that inspiration is to keep driving and keep going. So looking at you and all your crazy foot pedals, I thought I'll do the same. And I made mechanical levers and had people design it, and I'm still working on it. And I'm using electronics now in my drum kit, and I just want to thank you for showing me that I can still do music. So thank you.
That's very cool. Thank you.
Well done.
I could probably learn a thing or two from you.
Score, man.
Thank you.
All right. Question right here in the middle.
How you doing? Michael Broderick, Marine veteran, and I want to know if there's going to be a sequel to Phantom of the Park.
Semper Fi.
Hopefully not. I'm still trying to figure out what it is about.
A Twitter question at Live Nation. Here we go. Both bands. Some of the staples, some of the crowd pleasers, and your favorite songs to play in concert. Just a few.
It's different every night, actually. I mean, or each tour, you know. I mean, it's a real buzz when we play Pour Some Sugar on me because everyone starts taking their clothes off, right, for some reason, even if you mention it, which is kind of weird. So everyone has a different favourite, I think, but that one's always a blast.
We love playing Photograph, but we can't figure out the chords.
Me too. Well, we're still trying to work on that one. We've done it once.
Paul, many, many years ago, when Phil was not even in Def Leppard, me and him got up on a stage in Sheffield in a little club and attempted to play Do You Love Me? Yeah. I was the drummer. It wasn't very good.
You guys did it didn't you do it in Girl?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, we actually, the band I was in, Girl, we covered that. It's a great song. And another thing, actually, I want to thank Paul and Gene. They accepted our American Music Award when we couldn't get it. We was in Holland recording, and these guys accepted on our behalf, which was very cool. We actually never thanked you for that, so thank you.
And we never got it back either. So, can we have it, please?
As you can see, the dynamics are at play here. This is going to be the biggest tour of the year. Kiss, Def Leppard. Is there any chance this would go beyond North America?
You know, here, how about this? Do you want it to? Of the people, for the people, by the people. You want it? You got it. Let's just see how the first 40 goes. See if you can take any more joy. And you want it? We're happy, healthy, and yeah, there's lots here.
They'll pour the sugar. They'll lick it up. Kiss, Def Leppard, 2014.
Thank you for the military here today. Thank you to you guys all getting together for us. It's going to rock. Could we get you to the front of the stage here for group shot? Oh, now they want you back. You just can't make up your mind.
Just for general information, Kiss fans, Def Leppard fans, there will be a pre-sale tomorrow at 10 a.m. And then the general public, March 21st at livenation.com. That's Friday, this Friday, March 21st. Get your tickets now. They will sell out. Coming back to the Forum. All right, our military friends, remember we're going to line up in groups of 10 over on this side of the House of Blues, right over here to the left-hand side of the stage. Or you can sit down for right now. Sit down for right now. We'll get you in there. Paul's autobiography, April 8th. Face the Music, A Life Exposed. April 8th, everybody. Up top shot. The band is going to take a quick break, everybody. We're going to get organized for our fan photo shoot, so please just sit tight. We're going to take care of everybody. Everyone's calling in sick. No one's going back to work. It's St. Paddy's Day. It's a rock and roll holiday. Right now, it would be great if we can orchestrate our groups of 10. You know, we're going to try and make this go as quickly as possible, so kind of filter over this.